Welcome to another Selling Travel TV presentation. Today I'm joined by Parta's training spokesperson, Ian Dockreay, who will be discussing findings from a recent Travel Uni booking trends survey with a particular focus on the Asia Pacific region. And we'll be exploring why travel agent training is more important now than ever before. Hi Ian, how are you doing there?
Hi, good morning, Jessica. Very well, thank you.
Good. So as we know, many agents have used the lockdown period to train and learn about new destinations and broaden their horizons. And have you noticed any increase in engagement with Travel Uni courses?
Yes, I think since lockdown, we've had a huge increase with travel agents using the service globally, but also particularly in the UK. As an example, in the UK, we're up 34% since this time last year. So that's a massive increase. And just as importantly, the agents are doing more and more training. So they're spending a lot of time productively when they've got downtime, which they've had a lot of recently. And they're really increasing their knowledge dramatically, which is great news for the industry and just good news all around, I think.
Definitely. And have you had any new destinations sign up to the platform?
Yes, most recently, we've been doing a lot of work both on our training courses and also our webinars. And so most recently, within the European area, which is obviously one of the major focuses of bookings at the moment, we've just taken on Sani and Ikos, which is in Greece. And launched their program for them. And of course, Greece is probably going to be one of the earliest very popular destinations. I'll talk more about how island destinations are going to feature throughout the world. So yes, Sani and Ikos. And again, another island destination that will open up later, of course, and come back on track, Hong Kong. We're doing more work with Hong Kong tourism now. And Italy, strangely, Italy popped up recently and started working with us, which is great. And we look forward very much to helping them develop their business in Europe this year and going forward. We're also starting shortly with Attitude Hotels, who are Mauritius based. And again, that kind of backs up the island focus I might talk about a little bit later on too. So there are a few, and obviously there are a number in the pipeline as well. One or two cruise companies, which is very exciting, and so forth. So yes, it's been a busy time for us, and people are realizing that they've got to engage with the trade to get those bookings moving quickly.
Good to know. And which of the existing programs are proving most popular?
That's a very good question. Obviously, what tends to happen when we launch a new program, it gets popular because Travel Uni members are constantly looking for fresh material to learn about. So because we recently launched Sani and Ikos, which is a fabulous brand, but not so well known. It's a Greek luxury brand. Because that's very high, very high in the pecking order at the moment of people looking at destinations for short haul. I would say there's been a lot of interest in that particularly, but we've also had a lot of activity with Australia. We've been working with the Australian Tourist Board now since last summer, and although it seems that their lockdown will continue, there's a lot of interest in the more far-flung destinations, as we said, in Parta region, and I guess people are looking forward to getting down there next year. So there's been a lot of activity for them, and of course, let's face it, Italy is perennially popular anyway. So that's a new course too. Yeah, so they're some of the highlights at the moment. And the Middle East, actually, the Middle East, we work very closely with Abu Dhabi and other destinations in the Middle East, Oman included, and Qatar. And yeah, that's been very popular, I think, with early bookings anyway. The UAE has been particularly popular. So there's been a lot of interest in that program, and we're working with Abu Dhabi on a global basis as well. So it's not just UK demand we're looking at there.
That's good to know. I think there is a lot of pent-up demand for these long-haul destinations, which we are about to touch on, because Travel Uni recently published a frontline findings survey in conjunction with Parta. and you asked UK agents about forward booking trends. So tell us about some of those findings.
Okay, well, the research, which was undertaken with Travel Uni members, it was actually responded to by 400 agents, so it's a nice solid sample. And what we did with PARTA was to break down the region a little bit further, because it's so vast, obviously the whole of the Eastern Hemisphere. So we broke it down further for them, and it was really quite fascinating. One of the highlights was the Indian Ocean and East Africa, and I think that's because island destinations are really coming to be very popular for several reasons. One being that clearly they're most likely to be coming out of the epidemic earlier, because they can actually control the spread of the disease much more easily.
Self-contained.
And yes, it's contained, and that goes all across our research. It's very clear that is a major factor. And obviously there's also the fact that a number of the island destinations, they have resorts that are not, I wouldn't say they're isolated, but they operate within their own sphere. So Maldives has been incredibly popular, and people are now looking very closely also at places like the Seychelles and Mauritius and so on, for the very same reason. So that's one of the highlights, one of the highest demand areas too. Southeast Asia, of course, where there's a huge amount of pent-up demand, because it's such a wonderful exotic destination as well, and people are really looking for those high value sort of luxury experiences for the future. They've got plenty of budget which they've saved up over the last year or so, and they want a really spectacular holiday. And of course Asia Pacific can provide two things going forward. Obviously, the spread of the epidemic has been rather more suppressed there, but also there's the opportunity really to experience a very different and exotic destination. So I think that's one of the reasons it's going to be very popular. Southeast Asia very high. I was really surprised by the figures when I saw that Australia was nearly 20% of the bookings. We asked the agents what are going to be the top 4 destinations that you're currently booking. So as you can imagine, the UK and Europe came out right at the top, but of the long haul destinations, Asia Pacific did particularly well. And obviously it's a longer term trend for Asia Pacific.
That's very encouraging. I guess people were looking to visit these more exotic destinations, having been in lockdown, and they might be getting a bit tired of staycations, so they're looking to go beyond into these far-flung destinations and have these bucket list trips.
Yes, exactly. I mean, obviously, other areas that feature a lot of island destinations are doing well with the bookings. Obviously, the Caribbean, is particularly popular coming up as they begin to come out of lockdown in a number of the islands. So again, that's the trend, those islands. I think people are desperately keen to get out there and see new destinations, new places that they wouldn't otherwise have thought of, perhaps didn't have the budget to go to, but now they've sort of saved up almost like 2 years budget. So I think that'll be very popular. Our agents indicated that over 60% of them book luxury holidays. So that's really great. So there's, for them, it's good. A lot of long haul opportunities. And of course, cruise, when things settle down for the cruise market, will be a very popular luxury type of holiday booking as well, and that will be throughout the world, I'm sure. But again, you'll be looking at long haul, obviously. So we've just got to hope that the airlines are going to be providing enough seats.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that it's a boom across the whole travel industry.
Yeah, I mean, it is a longer term trend, but yeah.
And great for these destinations, especially the island destinations, for the local economy, because tourism plays such a huge part in that.
That's correct, yeah. So it's very important that the tourism organisations of all of those destinations really do invest now in effectively selling their wares to the agents, because they're going to be so important in assisting people to make the right decisions about where they go.
Definitely. Well, alongside that, the survey did find that advice and reassurance will be more important than price when clients look to book with the travel agent. So how can agents ensure that they are best prepared to assist clients who are perhaps a bit nervous about traveling to these far-flung destinations?
Sure. Well, I would say this, wouldn't I? Training, of course. It's essential that they know about the destination, and of course that they must know about the regulations that apply. Not only the regulations here in the UK or in that home market, but also, most importantly, of course, what happens when you get there and what happens upon the return. So they've really got to be aware of that. And of course, the training and Travel Uni particularly has an agent's tool area where they can learn all of that on a global basis. They can also see where, which airlines are going where and so on in the agent's tool area. So that's really, really important. But the other thing is, reassurance. It's also around the fact, yes, they're spending a lot of money. So it's got to be around, them spending it wisely and safely. So people are going to want to know about security, about refunds, all those things that you just can't get that from what I would call an online booking tool. That's information that really travel agents can help people with, ensuring their financial well-being. So I think that's another very, very important area where people will seek reassurance and knowledge and information.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And why would you encourage agents to sign up to various travel programs going forward? Particularly, we're seeing that a third of those surveyed expect to see international travel pick up significantly from Q4 of 2021. So how would you tell agents to kind of best prepare themselves for that period?
Well, yes, obviously, bookings are picking up now to particular areas. So, some agents might specialize in a particular region. But I think if they are wanting to grab a good share or reasonable share of what's coming their way, they have to perhaps just broaden their scope and get to know different destinations, different areas. Mm-hmm. Perhaps avoid too much specialism at the moment, but really, get to know the world better. And obviously, there's no better way to do that. They very clearly indicated that they're spending a lot of time training. I think it was a third were spending over 3 hours to 4 hours a week, more in some cases. So yes, they've got the time to do it, and they are spending that time well. The other thing, obviously, is just to keep an eye on the news. It's most important that they look and see, because a lot of information is out there in the news, and we hear all about, at the moment, the development of the epidemic in India. Mm-hmm. That's relatively recent. These are shocking things, but it is important that travel agents keep an eye on all of that for obvious reasons. And there are a number of sites. We've brought most of them together into Travel Uni so they can find that information quite easily. But it's just being aware of what's happening in the world. I know that's a tall order, because it's a big place, and it's got an awful lot more scary recently. But that's really what I would suggest. And reassurance comes from knowing, being able to talk knowledgeably about somewhere. And of course, the tour operators are doing a fine job now in putting together programs to promote new areas. So they might want to look at new tour operator programs as well.
Mm-hmm. And how do you plan on continuing to work with travel agents going forward? Are there plans of any events, one-to-one training, any fan trips or anything like that?
Yes, as we move forward, we're always looking at new ways to communicate. We're obviously a digital specialist, so we don't engage in live events, but we've done a huge amount of events. Hopefully agents have seen them with Parter over the last year. Particularly, we're the main sponsor for all their digital events, and they're great fun. We've done things like travel quizzes and bingo, and sales missions, and all sorts of different ways of putting across the message, and in a fun way. That's the key. We will continue to always find ways to put across the message in an entertaining way that is not, it's not boring. It's actually, you know, fun and different. Yeah, we work with companies that are going to be in the future putting on events, and we work with them because of our databases, and we can communicate to our community generally about events. But yeah, we're always looking. I mean, obviously webinars have just taken off. We've got over 130 now on Travel Uni, which a lot of which we did with Parter, but always being asked by different destinations, even those that we don't have maybe have their training courses. We're developing webinar and other online products for them. They're very, very creative at the moment. Everyone's being very creative, and I think that makes it just great fun and a great way to learn.
Yes, definitely more engaging, sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing some of those activities moving forward, and thank you so much for speaking to me, Ian.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. It's been a great pleasure.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.